Now let's look at this question. In this question, it says the rule of a relation is 3 less than half of. The domain is given as 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the codomain is also given as -3, -5 on 2, -2, -3 on 2, -1, -half, and 0. We are to use arrow diagram to illustrate the relation and also state the type of relation and find the range of the relation. Okay, so no waste time. Since we are given the rule of the relation, remember in our previous lesson we looked at how to get the rule. Okay, so first of all you need to write a mathematical statement for the rule. What is given, and the rule is what? Is 3 less than half of what? Half of the element of the domain. So we can see that we can let x and y, let's x and y be elements of domain and codomain respectively. So it means that our x belongs to an element in the domain and y belongs to element in the codomain. All right, good. If that is the case, then we can use this x and y letters to write the rule in a mathematical form. Okay, we can write a formula for the rule which says is 3 less than, so we know that this is the rule, is 3 less than half of. This is the rule given. If we are to write a formula for this, then we can say that if x, so the half of what? Half of, always we know that the domain is what? Independent variable, while the codomain is what? Dependent variable. So whatever we do to the input, the domain is also the input. Whatever we do to the input gives us what? The output, which is the codomain, that is the y. So if I'm seeing 3 less than half of x, then I'm going to get half of x. We know that is going to give me this half of x, half of the domain, which we are using what? X to represent an element. And then we are saying 3 less than, so 3 less than, we will subtract 3 from this, which gives us the output, which is y. So this is what? Our rule. Okay, in that case, we are given, though we are given the domain, the x values, and the y what? Values. Okay, good. But we want to know the actual range, okay, so that we can use it to draw the arrow diagram. Okay, yes, we could have gone straight away to draw the arrow diagram, but how do we know that the domain, which is 1, corresponds to any element here? We don't know, so we need to show workings, use the rule given in the question before we can draw the diagram. Okay, all right, so we are going to use the domain. We know that the domain is given as what? 1, 2, 3 and 4, while the codomain is giving us -3, -5 on 2, -2, -3 on 2, -1, -1 on 2, and 0 and 0. So these are the codomain and the domain. Good. So once we have this, then we can use this to get what? The actual values. Okay. All right. So if we see that when x is equal to 1, because we are saying the x belongs to what? The domain. That's the statement. Let x and y be element of domain and codomain. So if 1 represents x, then we can substitute and get the values for y. Okay. So we can get 1 on 2 multiplying 1 minus 3, which gives us what? If we show workings, then we are going to get -5 on 2. Okay. All right. When x is equal to 2, then we will have to multiply this by this minus 3, and that will give us what? -2. When x is equal to 3, then we can have this, can multiply it by 3 and subtract 3, and this gives us what? -3 on 2. Good. Then we can do when x is equal to 4, then we can multiply the 4 by half and subtract 3 from it, which will give us -1. Good. So we now can draw the arrow diagram because we know the various correspondence. We know that now when you substitute 1, you are getting what? -5. So realize that it is the -5. It is 1 that gives us what? -5. We can use this to draw the arrow diagram very nicely. Okay, good. So I can write this as this. Then write my domain, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are my domain. Then let me draw for my codomain. I will have -3, -5 on 2, -2, -3 on 2, -1, -1 on 2, and then 0. So these are also my codomain. Okay, now let me match them. Let me match each codomain with the domain. So when we substituted 1, we got for this. So we know that this 1 belongs to this. Okay, then we also 2, when we substituted 2, we got 2. So it means that our 2 here belongs to this 2. When we substituted 3, we got what? -3 on 2. So it also belongs to this. And when we substituted 4, we got -1. So it means our 4 is also here. Great. So this is how your arrow diagram will look like. Okay. All right. So that answers the first question. That is the A part. Now let's look at the B part. What does the B part say? The B part says we should state the type of relation. So looking at this, you can look at the arrow diagram and tell straight away, you see that each element in the domain maps onto only one element in the codomain. In that case, what type of relation is that? We can say that the type of relation is 1 to 1. 1 to 1 relation. 1 to 1 relation. Very good, because one element to one element, one element to one, 1 to 1, 1 to 1. Exactly. Good. Now let's look at the C. The C also says we should find what is the range of the relation. Remember what we said about the range. We are saying that the range, they are the possible set of y values that corresponds to element in the domain or X. Okay, so if you look at the element in the codomain, those elements that you see that they corresponds to element in the domain, they are our range. So looking at it, let's look at 3. You realize that 3 doesn't have any element. Negative 5 on 2 has what? 1. Negative 2 has 2. Negative 3 on 2 has 3. Negative 1 has what? 4. Negative 1 on 2 doesn't have any element. 0 also doesn't have. So we are going to write only the element that have correspondence in the X axis. Alright, if that is the case, then the range is what? Negative 5 on 2, negative 2, negative 3 on 2, and negative what? 1. These are the element of the range. This is the range. Okay, so that answers the question. Very easy, isn't it? Yes, it's very, very easy. So when you get such questions, please, this is how you should go about it. It's very simple. All right, so this brings us to the end of this question. Now, this is MathsWiz TV. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your facilitator, Evans Okay. Alright, so let's meet next time so that we can look at mapping. Alright, thank you.